Hello! Welcome back to Plannerpocalypse, where today, August 8th, hopefully if I get this up on time, in honor of Bullet Journal Day, I'm going to be talking about a few ways bullet journaling has changed my life, followed by a flip of my very first bullet journal. So this would have been my 2019 bullet journal. I first found bullet journaling in 2018 by way of YouTube, of course, and Jenny Journals was the channel that I first encountered, and I was blown away. At the time, you know, I had a young baby at home. Callie was born in July 2017, and I was going through a lot of stuff at the time. It felt like the roof of my known reality was like just ripped off. I guess you could say it was kind of like the start of a spiritual awakening, which I know sounds kind of weird, but that's a whole other topic. Basically, during this time, I was very into minimalism and tiny houses and, you know, trying to live more eco-consciously. And, you know, I was cloth diapering my child. So while I would be stuffing diapers, I would watch decluttering videos or, you know, videos about minimalism on YouTube. And that's when they started feeding me bullet journaling videos, because writer Carol is a minimalist. And so that's when I discovered the actual book, The Bullet Journal Method by writer Carol, the originator of the method. So 2019 kind of rolled around. I wanted to make a bullet journal for myself. So some of the problems that I was encountering in 2018 that I thought bullet journaling could possibly help me with were, number one, organizing myself, keeping track of my bills that I needed to pay that I kept forgetting and kept getting overdraft fees and late fees and stuff like that. And I also had just quit working to stay home with Callie. So, you know, I don't exactly have the extra income to throw at late fees, you know, so I wanted to get my stuff together. And as an artist, I have a lot of issues around making art, and that's actually why I started going to therapy once I moved to Rhode Island. Because if you're an artist who doesn't make art, if that's like the core identity that you've had for so long, you start like basically saying like, I'm nothing. If I'm not this thing that I said I am, I'm nothing. Anyway, I was hoping that bullet journaling would give me some sort of creative outlet that I could do, and, you know, like a way to kind of address some of my perfectionism issues. And so in 2019, I picked up this Martha Stewart Discbound half-letter book, and then got some dot grid paper and made myself a bullet journal. And a part of me was trying to wait for, you know, like next year, or I missed out because it's not January, but I kind of slapped myself in the face and was just like, no, this is part of the therapy. Just start right now in the middle of the year. Just do it. So I ended up starting in May of 2019. And while this is where it was for the whole year, May to December, so not the whole year, but I've since taken it out of here so I can use this again because I like it, and have archived it on, you know, these discs. And I have some printouts that I just laminated, and it's archived. Don't make fun of me, but the front cover is a part of my self-care spread by just looking at my favorite South Korean actor, Park Bo-gum, because his acting is just really good, and he's a good person and just very refreshing. So yeah, it started in May and went all the way to December. And so the first thing was definitely, you know, facing my perfectionism of trying to wait until the perfect time. So like, making myself start in May was hard, but I'm glad I did it. So technically I started in April, on April 29th, but I set it up for May. And yeah, that was a good practice. And, you know, I will take you through the flat lay to look at the spreads and stuff, but this was also a really good way to use up different materials that I had been hoarding, you know, like very nice stationery or scrapbook stuff or papers or stickers that I was saving for some nebulous future time. And so it was nice to have a reason to use them and be able to look at them and have them be functional. And, you know, so that was that was like one thing, trying to help me with my perfectionism and being okay with making mistakes. Then, the next thing was obviously keeping track of my bills, which no longer got late fees or overdraft fees or anything like that, thanks to my supreme organization and skills. So that was nice. But one thing that I was not expecting to gain from this practice of writing my stuff down is realizing that I get more done than I thought I ever gave myself credit for. I would always end the days feeling like I didn't accomplish anything, that my spouse would be angry at me, which, for the record, he's never angry at me. These are all kind of like trauma responses from past bad relationships. So just having something that shows me that I've done things gives me the proof that I need to tell my negative self-talk, that inner critic, that no, I actually did do things. You be quiet. Thank you and good night. And so it really did help me with building some self-compassion and self-acceptance. And that kind of brings me into my next portion. For those of you who don't know, if this is your first video of mine that you've seen, I do have mental health struggles. For many years, I've dealt with depression, anxiety, PTSD, and I was recently diagnosed with OCD. So there are times, like when I'm depressed, that I just don't have the energy to do things. And so what I was finding when I was in here is that I would get depressed and then I would not have the energy to set up my spread, and then I wouldn't have the support system that I needed in order to function. That was the reason why I moved to a printed planner later on. I guess the final way that bullet journaling changed my life is that it helped me memory keep in an accessible way. Because I used to be a big scrapbooker, but this is where the perfectionism also kicked in, because I would buy all these pretty scrapbook papers, embellishments, and all of the things, and then I would get overwhelmed. I didn't really know how to use them, or I would have this perfect idea of what it should look like. You would have to print out photos and all this other stuff. And it got to the point where I just had all this stuff, but I wasn't doing anything with it. So bullet journaling gave me the opportunity to make simple little memory keeping spreads that they're not perfect or anything, but they're done. And that's good enough. So with that, let's move to the flat lay and take a look at the flip through. Let's go do it. So once again, this is my very first bullet journal before I decided to revisit my YouTube channel in 2020. So this is May 2019 through December 2019. Park Bo-gum is my favorite South Korean actor, and he's just really, really a great actor. And the first time I saw him in a role was in the drama Tomorrow's Cantabile, which he played the second male lead, and the second male lead syndrome in that show is very hard, very high. And his performance there was just chef's kiss, wonderful. So as you can see, I have a Discbound bullet journal. I just bought some dot grid paper from Amazon and punched it with my arc punch, and that was that. Like I said before, this was originally in that Discbound Martha Stewart cover. This is just how I've archived it. It's half letter. In case you could not tell, these are just washi samples that I got from a shop for buying some other stuff. What this actually allowed me to do was use up a lot of stickers and fortune cookie things that I had been holding on to for a super long time, and that was kind of like the whole point of it. I have the 4 standard index pages. I set up my future log, and as I was saying, part of the reason I wanted to do this is to try to work on my perfectionism and work on being okay with making mistakes. And the first mistake that I made was having a future log for the month that I started my bullet journal. That's not exactly the future. There's the key, since I wasn't actually using that as a future log spot. I just put the key there and, you know, filled out the rest of this stuff. I did set this up, the future log anyway, for a whole year. So it ended in April of the following year. But I decided after using this that I wanted to jump into a bound book. And that's when I got the Scribbles That Matter Pro notebook, because I wanted to be able to paint in it. And like, this is 100 GSM paper, whereas that is 160 GSM. So yeah, I wanted to test this out and see how it worked before investing in, you know, a more expensive alternative, right? So this was a sticker, one of my favorite stickers from like Hot Topic that I've been holding on to for a long time. I pulled out some of my fortune cookie slips that I've been hoarding for a long time. As I was setting this up, I immediately made mistakes, and I had to learn to just be okay with it. I tried doing daily logs in the form of a weekly, I suppose, because I set this up at the beginning of the week, and it's kind of just, I don't like it. I did like doing, you know, my favorite part of the week on this little post-it note, but I also didn't really know what was going to work. This was my homeschooling pros and cons that I worked through with Sunny. I've got a list of house projects that I wanted to get moving on. And then this spread is from Dot Journaling, a practical guide. It's a book, because I was still trying to find a weekly spread that was going to work for me. And this was okay, I guess. But so this computer stats page is something that I'm actually kind of proud of. I didn't actually use it, but if you are looking to just keep track of your computer parts, what you can do is write your stats on post-it notes, and then, you know, you could always swap out the post-it note when you upgrade your part. Obviously, I didn't stick with that, but I thought it was a good idea at the time. This is books I read in 2019. I wanted to read 10, and I did. That's Scary Bear from the Hobonichi brand, and this came on one of their bonus things for 2019, because I had my daily journal in a A6 Hobonichi thingy during this year. Then this is my self-care spread. I really liked this Skeletor picture that somebody drew. And then, you know, I used this fortune cookie. It says, "Our first love and last love is self-love." And this is just stuff that I could do to, you know, make myself feel better, or just have a good time by myself or with other people, I guess. So Callie had a speech delay, so I was trying to keep track of all of the new words that she was saying. At this time, she had a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, and a physical therapist that came to the house, because again, this was 2019. So pre-pandemic. So I wanted to make sure that I was keeping track of her progress, so that when they came over, you know, I could make a report. And I was using up stickers that I had been holding on to for a long time. And I have scrapbook paper here, Hello Kitty scrapbook paper. These pictures are just printed from my HP Sprocket, which I had gotten for Mother's Day this year. And they're not the greatest quality, but as I've said in other videos, the best tools are going to be the ones that you have on hand and that are accessible. So that's what I went with. This was another spread from, I think, that Dot Journaling thing. So it's just like tasks and notes, and, you know, the days go this way. I didn't like this one at all. Then this is like a chore thing. So I've got daily, weekly, monthly, and seasonal chores. And this is just a collection. It's not like a task list, but this would be, you know, to reference if I was going to put them into my weekly stuff, which I didn't really do. And then I tried out a when did I last, which I didn't remember to keep up with either. But I like the artwork. I like the colors I chose. So that was nice. Then I did a pros and cons for using a Discbound bullet journal, and this was pros and cons of using the A6 Hobonichi English, because that's what I was using as my daily journal. And I'll probably do videos of these things. Then I have got like tracker ideas and collection ideas. Then this was a review and first impressions for the otome game Blood Sacrifice, which was part of Story Jar from Shall We Date, or NTT Soulmare. Don't even get me started on this company. There is a hill that I will die on. I'm not going to even open up this story jar of worms. Moving on. This was the first time I used the rolling task list or the Alastair method for keeping tasks, and I found it from the Petite Planner. And this actually really worked out for me. Once I found the Alastair method for my task list, I was set. Just because, you know, as you can see, like the days were really cluttered with stuff. I hate writing stuff over and over again. Again, I really like the art and stuff, the colors that I chose. I was trying to go for like an early 90s Memphis design, you know. So I made collages of all of the BTS members to make journal covers, and then I printed them. They're just dot grid journals. I stapled them in the middle. There's Jungkook. Banana Gin is my favorite, actually, and someone actually bought a mug with this on it because it's up on like Redbubble or Society6 or like one of those websites. I didn't see any money from it, but you know, like my design is out there somewhere. And I don't know, I just had a lot of fun. I was going with like a sweets or dessert theme for all of them. And there we go. I had these up on Etsy for a little bit. They all came with like a little Instax photo. Obviously nobody bought them because I still have them, and this was back in 2019, but that's okay. Yeah, it was fun. I liked, you know, the lettering thing that I did. That was fun. And I wrote down 2019 goals. Better late than never, right? Because it's May. And retroactively, I picked a word of the year. I think at the end of this year, I picked release just from stuff that happened during the year. I really wanted to learn bookbinding in 2019, but that never actually happened. So these were going to be like my bookbinding pictures, which I didn't actually complete anything. So this was my first impressions for Sasuke's route in Ikemen Sengoku, which I had been waiting 3 years for this guy to be released, so it did not disappoint. And if you recently saw my Sailor Moon collection flip through or tour or whatever, you'll recognize my vintage stationery that I put to good use here in June. June being Usagi's birthday month, because her birthday is on the 30th, I believe. And so yeah, we're settling more into the layout that I would just use forever. I drew this little Sailor Moon down there. So during this month, I wanted to lose some baby weight so that I would be ready for the Imfact concert in August. If talk about weight loss bothers you, I will put up like a skip it time, okay? So don't worry about skipping it. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but... So this was my weight loss tracker. I set up my weeks here with my measurements. I fell off of tracking a few times. I did not complete my goal, but that's okay. And I just have some pictures of Usagi from like the second or third episode where she wants to lose weight. It's like the gym that opens up. I have her working out here, and then also fighting the gym dude, and rewards over here, and some more little fortune cookie things and things that I could do to help lose weight. In May, I had given it thought, and by June, at the end of Sunny's school year in 8th grade, I decided to pull him out of public school and to homeschool him for high school. And, you know, it just so happened that this program was doing like an informational thing for homeschooling high school. And so I was like, well, the timing is right. So I went and took notes. I made a collection for Penny stuff, which I didn't actually fill out. We didn't fill out very well, but I did, you know, give her heartworm pill and stuff. So then this was another weekly here using Sailor Moon stationery that I had been hoarding. That's one of the things that I really liked about this bullet journal, just using these things that I wanted to hold on to, but was like too afraid to like use, you know. But this way I got use and I get to look at them and they're nice. So I wrote my task list on the stationery and my habits, and this is the actual weekly spread. I also didn't know how to make my spreads. This week was starting on Saturday, and it's because I thought that I had to have every month have the days contained within it. There was no stragglers. It was weird. So whatever day June started on, which was a Saturday, that's what I started my weeks with, and it was very weird. So I know better now. Yeah, then here I'm just brain dumping homeschool ideas, and Usagi's here exhausted from school and so tired from all this homework. Here's another really cute stationery item that has my task list and habits and my weekly whatnots. And here I've got a monthly brain dump, which I didn't use every month, but now I know it's very helpful for me. So I include it in my Memento Mori goal planner. I have a collection for freelance projects. I don't really do a lot of freelance projects because I've got issues with that, but for friends, sometimes I will do that. Here's a task list. I did not get anything done this week, which is fine. And then this is the last the last couple of days in June. As you can see, it's just Saturday and Sunday. And then I was like, oh, I have to start a new thing. So inside the envelope is the task list, and I got some things done. This paper is from like a Korean stationery company called Morning Glory, and it just happened to fit inside this cute little envelope. And then July is my daughter's birthday month. At this time, she was obsessed with the moon, so I decided to watercolor a moon and then tape it in there. The whole month is moon themed. On these, I put down my washi tape and then decided to use my heat gun to do like an embossing thing, which was not a good idea. It looks gross. I don't like it. I do like the moon I watercolored over here, and again, we've got like the moon phases here. They're not the actual moon phases for the week, but they're just moon phases in general. And we've got more words that Callie says so that, I'm keeping track. And then she had her second birthday. At this time, she was watching a lot of Sailor Moon because she's my daughter, and she really liked it. So we got her a plush crescent moon wand for her second birthday, and she absolutely loved it. It was so cute. She like ran around wielding it. It was very fun. And then here's her birthday party, and we invited, our friends, little kids too. It's fun. More moon stuff, right? And made a collection for selling stuff on eBay. And this was the Imfact concert that they were going to be in the US on tour. And Sonia and I were just beside ourselves. So I made a point we got the VVIP tickets and snapshots with each band member alone. I was just really, really excited. And we went to New Jersey for this, and we stayed in a hotel overnight. And getting there was a nightmare, and we were almost late, but we just made it in time for the concert. And I was going through a lot of anxiety this week, apparently. I did some things, a packing list for going to see my parents, just a couple of days here to round out the month once again, because I was just dead set on keeping things contained per month. Then we had gone to Taconic Falls in Trumansburg, where my brother was living at the time. And, I made a collection about that, like just memory keeping stuff. This is a collection for bullet journal theme ideas. And I did do some of these, but not all of them, which is fine. I wanted to do something kind of geometric and minimalist during the month of August, because this is the time that I was going to be at my parents' house. I didn't want to bring too much with me. So I think I might have set these up beforehand, ? I don't know. I don't remember. We were there like this week, and this is also when I was starting to research homeschool stuff, and when I was making the homeschool bullet planner. The Imfact concert was August 17th. It was so good. They broke up now, and the members are like doing their own things now. And this is the words Callie says in August, and she says peach by saying bitch, which was really funny. And this was the packing list for the Imfact concert, and I got to use just random ephemera. My washi tape collection expanded at this point, and this is not good washi tape. So I was in the middle of reading the Throne of Glass series, and I don't remember what book I was at this point, but I wanted to do a theme with Mamon Blackbeak and Prince Dorian. I tried doing like a faux Dutch door, But that's what that is. And I don't know if you have read the books or not. I'm not done with the series yet, so no spoilers, please. But I do ship them because, did that. So that was fun. And it says, from now on until darkness claims us, which I thought was pretty baller. Then this is the memory keeping collection for the Imfact concert. It was just really fun. So then when we got home, I wanted to make like a weekly spread for them, and I shared this in the Imfact Amino group back when I was on Amino. I loved this photo shoot and the colors, so I used that. Etsy resources, and then we've got just, again, the end of the month squeeze. And then September, I wanted to use these like little Karopi stickers that I had. I went with, the primary colors and from those stickers, and it was cute. We went to go see my parents again, and then I went back to this spread, but I replaced like the notes section and put in my rolling task list here. And that worked really well for a while. It was cute. We reunited with some friends that had moved away, and we went to Waterfire here in Rhode Island. This is not back to school beach day, which is in September. It's like a homeschool thing. This was the first time that Callie had been to the beach, and she liked it. Sunny hates going to the beach, and I'm not really a beach goer myself, but we went. We did the thing. Here's just, I don't know, another spread. It's cute. This was another What Callie Says thing. It's very full. Her speech really exploded this month, and I was very happy. When we were at my parents' house, we were holding a garage sale, and then a lot of the stuff that didn't sell, which is most of it, got donated. And this was just hanging out with family time, and more September spreads. And I was going to do stuff for a craft fair in November, but I didn't actually get to it. And then Etsy projects. Oh, yeah, this is the day that I got hair bleach in my eye, and that was awful. I had to rinse out my eye for about 5 minutes with cold water. I'm okay. Not recommended though. This is the first month that I did like an end of the month reflection, which I really liked. And then October, I broke into my hoard of Halloween-themed scrapbook items. This paper here is actually from, I used to have this Nightmare Before Christmas diary, and the papers were falling out of it because it was just glue bound. It wasn't like thread bound or anything like that. So I just took this out and used it for my bullet journal. I really liked this month just because I have like a lot of hand-drawn stuff in it. This was the weekly thing, but I really like the, habits thing that I have there with the cobwebs and the bats, and I don't know. Halloween's my favorite time of year, and yeah, like the eyeballs we've got going on. And this is also when Callie and Charlie started playing together. It's her cousin Charlie, and we went to meet Hello Kitty at the Hello Kitty truck. The cafe truck had come to my husband's work, and so I took Callie there because she loves Hello Kitty, and she was just fascinated. And Hello Kitty is booping her nose right there. It's very cute. This was just another week. We went to our friend's wedding this week. This was the collection or memory keeping spread with going to that wedding, and they actually fired off a cannon at their wedding, which was pretty impressive, crazy. And that's actually when I got my succulent plants. This one went absolutely crazy. This one is dead now. Rest in peace. I love this week because I love my little pumpkins, and my little pumpkins with the numbers cut out of them. I liked it. I miss drawing. Drawing is fun. This one I didn't do much on. I must have been having a low energy week or something, so I did some stickers instead. I set this up, but then didn't actually write about it because I wrote about it in my journal. That's one thing that happened a couple of times. I felt like I was writing things or tracking things multiple times, which felt kind of unnecessary. I don't know. But I had every intention to go back and like write about it, basically just write the same things, but I just never did. This one was just very plain. I was just phoning it in, I guess. And then this was November. I decided to try blending stuff. I don't remember if this was blending tombos or if this was watercolor pencils or something like that. I drew out like this gigantic calendar. I don't know. I tried a new weekly spread, which I didn't particularly like. I decided to retire the Words Callie Says spread for December just because, she was catching up. She was having like a language explosion. This was my Christmas gift idea list and trying a new spread again and again and again. I think I brought this layout into my 2020 bullet journal, if I remember correctly. It's my Thanksgiving collection, memory keeping thing, things I'm grateful for. Another family fun time thing with the most delicious French fry pizza. I drew this. It had like ham and bacon and French fries on it. It was just so good. I did another monthly reflection and tried to figure out what's working and what's not working. December, I went with something a little bit more simple. So I did one of those, squiggly wreath things with holly. I liked it. I liked how it turned out. I think it's nice. I actually really like this spread. So instead of using this area for notes, I started doing gratitude there, which I liked. I shoveled snow on this day, and now I'm walking like an old woman. That's funny. Oh, my Aunt Madeline died this day. Winter Storm Ezekiel hit. This is just spreads to keep in 2020, so I was already looking forward to starting a new journal and what I wanted to do for next year. Spreads to try in 2020. This is a brain dump. And then this was just another December spread. I used some free stickers from Amazon because they had like a toy catalog kind of thing, almost like a Toys R Us had back in the day. And they came with stickers, so I yoinked the stickers for myself. And I actually like the color scheme. And this was my waiting on Christmas gift list, waiting for packages to come in. This was the collection that I made for the etched glasses that I made for my Pathfinder group this year with the Chaos Pickle logo on it. I'm actually not sure how many people still have their glasses. I think a lot of them broke. I was playing a lot of Rilakkuma Farm at this time, which was fun. And this was the Christmas memory keeping spread that I filled out. And, again, I didn't get to actually write about it because I wrote about it in my daily journal instead. And then this was the end of the year stuff over here. And then I decided to do a year in review. So I started with highlights, what sucked, what worked, what didn't work, and what to improve. And then I made this whole thing of what improvements I could make for next year going off of this, right? And what worked, I suppose. I used glitter pens, which actually don't work anymore. And yeah, Farewell 2019. And then I've got my pen test over here. And then all of this is just reading notes on the paper that came in my Martha Stewart thingamabobber over there. And yeah, that's basically it. Lots of reading notes. And then the back cover is this: everything is awful and I'm not okay. Questions to ask before giving up. And this was copyright Sinope from eponus.tumblr.com from 2015. And I will link this down below. And then this A.A. Milne quote I put there. I actually laid this out myself, but I put that there because that is something that I really like. And yeah, that's it. I hope that didn't take too very, very long. And how did bullet journaling change your life? And do you still bullet journal? I keep wanting to go back to it, but I don't know. I might do like a little one. I'm not really sure at this point, but I do really value my experience with bullet journaling, and I'm very grateful for finding it. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And if you like what I do, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give the video a like. It does help me out. I would really like to get to 500 subscribers this year, but yeah, I don't know. If you like my work, the best thing you can do is share it with somebody, like a virus. Great. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Bye.